Welcome back to my channel. The struggle is real with Jamie Yeager. Today I want to talk to you about what other struggles I have while trying on some new products but also doing a full face. So let's just go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and try this I Love Revolution Peach Delight Mattifying Primer with vitamin C and E, which I'm not one to really like mattifying products. I do have combo skin, but I still like more of a dewy type products, but we'll see. So one of the things that I want to tell you about my struggles, well, if you've seen other videos, you know that I struggled bad with acne, and so I ended up being on Accutane for a year and a half. So I'm very cautious, doing a lot of research on how to keep my skin feeling better and everything. I'm going to go ahead in with the LA Colors, color correcting. But my niece is an esthetician, so I kind of been, and I get a bunch of products in my Ipsy and BoxyCharm that I subscribe to 3 different things every month, and I get different things from them. The FabFitFun, I get some, I just started that subscription, and that's quarterly, so I've only gotten 1 box, I think, maybe 2. So I do get a lot of face products, more so than it seems like more than makeup almost. I get a lot of eyeshadow palettes and face products like moisturizers and cleansers and that kind of stuff. So yeah, so I've been trying to use different products and really take care of my skin, because that medication is harsh. So that's been a struggle for me for the last 10 years. I still, like, when I was on the medication, wow, that's like clumping. I don't know if it's from the primer or what. It wasn't doing that before. I don't know if you can see that, but it's like, it's even on the sponge. Wow, I don't know if that's from the primer, because it's never done that to me before. Wow. Yeah, we'll see what it does with the foundation. Okay, I'm gonna go in with this foundation, the e.l.f. foundation, because it's never peeled on me before. So we'll see what happens with that. But so I've been really trying my hardest to keep my face good, and of course a lot of people do. And I don't eat the greatest either, because I travel, and I know that's an excuse, but I just don't eat good at all. And I eat a lot of processed foods. I drink a lot of pop, and I gotta stop that, I know. But it's hard. It's hard for me. That's my vice. I mean, I can stay away from sweets and stuff. It's the pop that I have a lot of hard times with. Speaking of pop, that's another struggle of mine. When I'm from the Midwest, so obviously I say pop a lot. And when I go other places, they're like, what? They're like, what do you want? And I forget that in many other states, they either say soda. In Texas, they'll even say Coke. And like when I was in Texas, I'm like, no, I don't want a Coke. I want a Dr. Pepper or whatever. And like, oh yeah, okay, a Coke. And I'm like, that makes, so yeah, it's but I forget where I'm at, and I've been saying pop forever. So yeah, it's kind of hard for me to remember where I'm at and say that. But I went in with that Suva the Suva Beauty Chrome Liquid. Liquid Chrome Illuminating Drops. That's the English side. It had a different side, a different language on the other side. But another struggle of mine is my hair. My hair is really curly, and if I wear it curly, which is easier to do, I have to, right after I get out of the shower and comb my hair, I have to put some type of gel or something in it and then go with some hairspray. But even then, it doesn't keep the frizz from, a lot of times it still frizzes throughout the day, and so I have a harder time. But if I straighten my hair, and I bought a $200 straightener, it's a Bio-Iconic hair straightener, and it gets up to 450 degrees, but it still takes me about an hour and a half to straighten it. So it doesn't, I don't usually have time to do that. I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer now. So that's one of the other struggles I have with my hair and trying to, look, because I also want to look older. And because I look extremely young, and that's been a struggle of mine. When I was, it was probably a little over 10 years ago, I was working on the floor as a nurse, and I wanted to, they had this admission discharge position open, and I applied for it. And my boss, which I know this is illegal and I could have done something, came to me and said that they weren't going to give it to me because I looked extremely young and people wouldn't take me seriously, which is bad to say. One, you shouldn't say that, but number two, are you kidding me? I'm doing the admission and the discharge of a patient, but yet I take care of the patient all day long, and I have to admit patients and discharge them and take care of their life. But they're not going to take me seriously to do the admission and discharge. So ever since then, I've been overly paranoid about me looking older in the work environment, and so I try to do different things to try to make myself look older and try makeup, to the different makeup ways to look older and to look professional for work. But a lot of times it's hard too, because to find things that fit me, because I'm 4'10". Next, I'm going to go in with the Hard Candy eye primer. So yeah, being 4'10", it makes it very difficult to find clothes, because no matter, even if I go into the petite section, I still am going to have to hem it. But obviously going to the kids section, I'm not going to be able to find good good clothes that are made for adult working women. So but I don't have time, and plus it's a lot of money. Business clothes are very expensive, and then to go get it all hemmed and tailored after you purchase it, it's even more. So I struggle with that. So yeah, so buying clothes is very expensive. Shoes is even a worse situation for me, because I have even smaller feet than even for me, for my being short. I wear a size 3, and to find shoes, it's really hard. I gotta real quick clean my brushes. I have the brush bath by It, so I will real quick do that. Okay, now I cleaned my brush. We're gonna go in with this Zoeva Caramel Melange palette, and this is the colors that we're gonna look for. And it's mostly matte shades, so I'm gonna go in with this Universal Delight shade here and just go all over my lid. But yeah, so shoes are even worse. So whenever I was going to prom, I went everywhere to find shoes that are fitting for a teenage prom, not a kid. And every time I went to, especially back then, I mean, nowadays kids' clothes and shoes are starting to look more adultish, but back then they didn't. And I'm like, I'm not wearing Barney to prom. And so I ended up having to just go and get a size 5 shoe, and then put tissue in the front of it, which is obviously it's heeled, and then it's very uncomfortable. So, and like now for dress shoes, I just buy like a boot, and I get like a 5 or a 6 in a boot, whatever I can find in a black or beige boot, so I can match my clothes. And then that way it's because a boot, it's easier to walk in, and no one can tell if it's a little bit too big for you. So that's what I kind of do with shoes now. And I try to go online and see if there's like a dress shoe in my size, but it's hard to do it online because sometimes even if I do find the small shoe size, they're too narrow and my feet are fat too, so that doesn't help. Next I'm going to go in with this peachy shade. It's called Aftertaste. And go in there. So that's another struggle of mine, is clothes and trying to find things that, you know, being a professional and have people take me seriously. Whenever I was in, I started getting into management and I started building my resume. I'll never forget this one interview. I come in and the person has my resume, and they look at me, they look at the resume, they look at me like, this person looks like a kid. But then, you know, after I start talking, you know, they start forgetting how young I look. And one person actually told me that after they hired me, of course. Obviously, they can't tell me that before. I'm going to go ahead and go with, I should have went with the Aftertaste here, but let's take this Start Soft shade here and put it down here on the outer V area, and then kind of blend this darker one in. But yeah, afterwards he goes, you know, when you first walked in, I was like, this can't be the same person on the resume. And then after you started talking, you know your stuff and you're so knowledgeable, and people forget how young you look. And the whole point of him telling me this supposedly was that that's a benefit of mine. It's kind of a asset. And I'm sitting here thinking, if you knew all the struggles I've had trying to move up the ranks, and how many positions that I've probably been denied because I look young. Because one manager told me that, even though they weren't supposed to, but how many have been denied because I look young or sound young or on the phone, and they just tell me that they found somebody else, you know. Because when you're looking for a job and you're and they deny you, I'm gonna go in with this 182 degrees Celsius shade now. I'm gonna try without wetting my brush and see what happens. But yeah, I mean, they can say whatever. Oh, well, we found someone more qualified, or you know, somebody interviewed better if they're not more qualified than you. And you know, being on the quality side in healthcare after being a nurse, it's very hard. It's a hard position as it is, and then it's a cyclical cycle. Double negative, I know. There's double saying that, but okay, I'm gonna try to go in with that transition shade and lighten this up. I was not expecting it to be as pigmented and dark, but that's okay. I'm gonna try going in with my finger. I'm just kind of curious how more pigmented this would be, this glitter shade on it. Okay. I'm gonna go, oh, you know what? I want to do the cream bronzer again here. So I'm gonna just go in with my cream yensa bronzer, nothing new. But yeah, so it's when I mean quality's been cyclical in healthcare, it's because it's not a revenue generating department. So whenever things get tough, they want to reduce staffing and quality. But what they don't realize is with quality, it might not be revenue generating, but you need quality. You need to make improvements, and as you're making improvements, you save. But the problem is healthcare doesn't use the robust process improvement programs as other industries do. And when I try to teach it, people like it when I teach it, but they don't want to take the effort. And for example, I had this one CNO. I started introducing more charts that look at variation versus the charts that are just like bar charts, pie charts. That's more of a snapshot in time. And so which is fine for like if you just want to see what your current performance is. But if you're really looking at it, you should want to do the whole complicated charts. But very rarely does healthcare use these more complicated charts. And so I was the quality director, and I introduced I've been kind of introducing the control chart into the facility, and then I brought it to one of my quality meetings and that I run, and I'm explaining it to anybody that might not know how, because that's one thing. Yeah, you're introducing these new charts. You can't assume that people know, especially in healthcare. But these charts are in so many other industries that it's normal for them. So the CNO told me, don't bring these charts again, Jamie, because the board won't be able to read them. Okay, most of the time the board is from other industries, and you're telling me not to use these because the board might not be able to read these? So it's very frustrating when I'm trying to make improvements into healthcare. I'm using the e.l.f. Multistick monochromatic for my cheeks. I've been using this quite a bit. I'm kind of loving it. But it's very frustrating because I get so much pushback on these higher variation charts. People just want to use bar charts because it's simple. They don't want to learn. Instead of saying, okay, let's learn this, so if the board does ask questions, I can answer them. Well, we got one hospital I was at, they got cited because they didn't have the quality person was not using any data, or not collecting data. I'm going to just go in again with this Benefit liquid highlighter. But yeah, so, they brought me in to kind of catch up, because Joint Commission would be there in a 30 or 45 days, and we had to have everything fixed. And so I did everything, and I've put everything into control charts because you want to look at the variation. And Joint Commission has a black belt program at their, and Joint Commission is the regulatory body that helps keep hospitals in compliance. They actually have a black belt department program and for improvements, so they do know how to read control charts, and they wanted me to put it back into all the simple bar charts and stuff because Joint Commission didn't want to see that. They don't want to see control charts. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I get a lot of pushback. Next, I'm just going to go in with this Kokie eyeliner. And so I get a lot of pushback with data. People in healthcare, not very many people, or at least where I've been, have wanted to actually look and drill down and have a good data analysis. They want to keep it easy. And I'm hoping to change that now that I do more interim work where I can go and try to teach hospitals and try to explain more. I mean, I explained it before when I was working too, like the why and how much better it can be, and I even showed them, and yeah, for whatever reason, they just kept, don't do it, and I would have to recreate. And I even said, I'll show you how to do this. And nope, they don't want to do it. For whatever reason. So that's been some of, I'm just going to put this primer on, mascara primer. Wow, I got some of that eyeliner on my eyelid. I'm going to have to fix that up, but I'll fix that after I put my mascara on. I'm going to just try, I haven't used the Sky High mascara in a while, so I just want to use this again. But yeah, so that's my struggle there. And I try to stay up on my knowledge and research and try to find different ways to convince healthcare to use more data. I mean, I do the Lean Six Sigma, and I even tried to start the side business of teaching other hospitals remotely. Wow, that is very pigmented. All right, before I set my face, I'm just gonna go with this. I think, let's try the brownish shade, the Finish Sensual, for under my eye. I don't know if that would be too orangey if I put the orange shade under my eye. But yeah, but not, I haven't, that hasn't really, I've only been able to do a couple training sessions that hasn't gotten kicked off too much, and I think it's because of, obviously a lot of it could be because, you know what, I might try some of this glitter shade though down here. And then I gotta clean up that eye and then set my face. I'm gonna go ahead with this Laura Geller pen and just put it in my waterline. It's very creamy, and this is in the glided bronze, so I thought maybe that would look okay. Okay, I'm gonna clean up my under eye and I'll be back. Okay, I had to clean my lid up a little bit and my under eyes from that eyeliner. It was very pigmented and wet. Yeah, when I've worked I worked as a nurse at Caterpillar too, so I had some training in manufacturing, and it's weird because everybody on the floor, didn't matter what level or who they were, they I'm gonna just go on it another coat on the top, because I think when I went back in with the eyeshadow, oh gosh, now it clumped. See that? Now it's all come together. Great. I should have just left it alone. Yeah, now there's spaces in my eyeshadow or mascara. Okay, I'm just leaving it. Let's just go in with my eyebrows. Yeah, I mean, so everybody in the other industries know, I mean, everybody on the floor, it doesn't matter what position, they learned about these charts. And it was nothing new. But yet in healthcare, we keep to the simplicity. Yeah, you can still make improvements, but you're not going to really know exactly what's happening. And another thing in healthcare, a lot of times, and I think I've said this in another video, is that people have meetings and committees for improvements, and they might look at some of the data, but they don't use the front line. So it's the leaders coming up with the improvements when they really don't know what the issues are, or the barriers, or why they're deviating from process. You have to get input from the front line, and a lot of times healthcare, they don't do that. I'm going to go in with this almost burnt shade, and I'm going to try to put this under my, see what that looks like under my brow bone. Oh. It's kind of a little more gold than I expected. I was hoping it would be a lighter gold, but it's all right. And I've been to a lot of hospitals, and I have a lot of the same issues. Okay, now that we did our face, everything's good. I'm gonna set it. I'm gonna just use the I Love Revolution, the peachy kind. Oh, it's already got, I love the smell. It's got a lot in there. So I'm just going to go and use this brush to set the face. If there's another topic that anybody would want to hear about or know about, just let me know in the comments. And, you know, I can talk more about healthcare, or anything that you would want to know about healthcare, like tips for you guys. You know, I did do a video on the healthcare tips in the past, and you can watch that video, or I can do a whole nother video on tips and that kind of stuff. To brighten my under eye, I'm just going to go on with the NYX Duochrome Illuminating Powder. I've been kind of loving this. Yeah, and another thing with shoes, and my struggles, my feet have been hurting, and I've been going to different places. And especially whenever I was working as a nurse and I was on the floor for 12 hours. I'm just going to go in the normal bronzing palette, the Lovecraft Beauty that I've been doing in the shade Adidia. And Nike Shox, back when I first started, they carried them in a size 3. I used those for years, and those were the only shoes that I could wear that would not hurt my feet. And so now that I've been trying to want to go hiking more and do more stuff like that, I've been looking for Nike Shocks. No one carries them in my size. I've looked online, I've looked at different department stores, nothing, because they start at like a 5 or 6. And to go hiking, I can't really have a bigger shoe. So I ended up going to a podiatrist to figure out, okay, why is my feet hurting all the time, and I figured that he would just like recommend a shoe or whatever. Come to find out, I have flat feet. And no, like, my range of motion of moving my feet forward was even worse, or like very limited. He said it was the worst he's seen. Well, no wonder why I have my feet start hurting very soon after I start walking, because it's not giving that range of motion. So we ordered orthotics, and it's helped a lot, but it still kind of hurts. Now I'm just going to go in with blush from the Balm, and this is in the shade, it's coming out, Bare Minimum. So I even went to physical therapy to try to get it. I had to get a boot to get it to come forward. But now that I started traveling and with COVID hit, my physical therapy got limited. I lost my job that I had at that time because they didn't need performance improvement. Imagine that for during COVID. Really, that's the time you would think that you would need performance improvement. But anyway, so I stopped going to physical therapy, and then now I travel, and it's just been hard. So I still have the boot, and I guess I should bring it here and actually start doing more. I'm going to go in with the OFRA highlighter, and this is the shade Glazed Donut. I love this highlighter. But it's so pigmented. So I should do that, and that's on me. But I still wear the orthotics, but I think that they're... Ooh, that was a little bit... I shouldn't have done that. But I think I might need to get a new pair because I think they're kind of getting worn out. I'm just gonna kind of brush this in. Like I said, I've been liking to make my inner corners a little bit darker on the bronzer, because that's where my glasses hit. So here's my glasses, so they like sit right there, so then when you take them off, it doesn't budge as much. So that's why I've been doing it, because that's the other struggle, because I'm blind and I have a hard time maybe putting, I don't know if I could put something in my eye for contacts. And with COVID, I haven't been wearing them. It's been on and off, because when you wear the mask, it fogs up your glasses. So anyway, I'm gonna go in with the Dominique lip liner. This is like a strange shape for me. But yeah, so I do need to make time to go get new glasses, though. It's been maybe 3 years, so. But that's another struggle of mine. When I travel, it's hard to get to your doctor's appointments, any other type of appointments, dentist, all that stuff kind of goes on the wayside, but on the back burner because of it. Then I'm just going to go in, I want to try this Zoeva Pure Velours Lip. Does it give a shade? Clear Message. So, yeah, I could, especially because I fly Fridays and fly back Mondays, and most of that stuff is not, oh, this is even more matte. Let me see if I can find the gloss. I'm going to use the clear lip gloss by Voss. It's supposed to be clear, but as you can see, I've used it and it's not as clear anymore. But yeah, so I need to make time for that kind of stuff. But usually it's like, okay, if I take an extra day, I'd rather do that for a doctor's appointment versus an eye doctor or whatever. So those things kind of get on the back burner. I'm going with the Pineapple Brightening Makeup Spray. The other one was mattifying and the other one was a dewy, but this is a brightening. I wonder, does brightening mean I should have put it before my face? I'll have to Google this. Let me get a different one. Hold on. I'm going to use the Milani. I used another one, and I think it was the watermelon one. This is Mango Coconut Scented Setting Spray. And this is to Make It Last by Milani. I like that scent. I love scented products. I know a lot of people don't, and I know it's probably not good for your face, and with all my issues that I've had, I probably shouldn't, but I'm going to let this dry for a second, and then I'm going to go in with a brush and kind of press down my peach fuzz. But so anyway, if while that's drying, if there's something more that you would like to see, certain products, like products that you struggle with, and you want me to try them out, or other products, just let me know, comment below. If you want to hear more topics about healthcare or something, or performance improvement, or Lean Six Sigma, data, anything like that, just let me know, and I can do a video on that. I'm just going to press that in, and thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye!